Biomed Nexus Daily updates your essential biotech, medtech, and pharma recap. No noise, just what matters. Executive takeaway Pfizer's 10B Metsera Gamble delivered a Phase 2B win for once-monthly obesity dosing yesterday, but triggered a 4% market correction as efficacy benchmarks, 10-12%, fell short of the best-in-class bar. Meanwhile, a 100-met federal SMART prize signals a strategic pivot away from mRNA toward broad-spectrum small-molecule antivirals. Read more week ahead, WED24 today, Amgen, AMGN, Q4 earnings, watch biosimilar margin commentary. 225 EU CHMP meeting outcomes expected, Fry 26 January, jobs report, healthcare hiring as macro signal. What to watch, the monthly. Obesity bar, Pfizer's PF 0.86539444 met its endpoint, but the market reaction suggests a higher bar for monthly maintenance. Watch for the upcoming Vesper 4 weekly data to see if Pfizer can match the 15% plus potency of Lilly and Shinovo, or if they are relegated to a maintenance-only niche. Read more non-invasive oncology diagnostics. Quest's rollout of a blood-based MRD test for multiple myeloma could disrupt the traditional bone marrow biopsy market. This is a structural threat to hospital lab volumes, especially as the FDA moves to formalize MRD as a primary trial endpoint. Read more vitiligo standard of care. If approved, AbbVie's Rinvoq upadacitinib would become the first systemic treatment for vitiligo. This effectively moves the indication from dermatology cosmetics into the high-value systemic immunology market. Read more today's top story. HHS launches 100-meter SMART prize for broad-spectrum antivirals. What happened? Yesterday, the Department of Health and Human Services, HHS, via BARDA, launched a $100 million competition targeting small molecule treatments for the Togaviridae and Flaviviridae families, dengue, Zika, West Nile. Why it matters? This marks a decisive policy shift. Following the administration's recent funding cuts to mRNA vaccine projects, $500, the focus has officially landed on resilient oral therapies that do not require cold chain logistics. Executive impact: biotechs focused on one-bug, one-drug models may face funding headwinds. The capital is now chasing AI-enabled platforms capable of pan-family viral inhibition. Read more oncology and rare disease. Quest Diagnostics launch. Rollout launched. Quest Flow, cytometry, MRD, a blood-based measurable residual disease test for multiple myeloma across 7,000 US locations. Significance offers sensitivity comparable to NGS-based tests without requiring a pre-treatment baseline, potentially sparing patients from painful hip bone marrow aspirations. Read more Exact Sciences. Milestone. Update announced that its Oncotype DX breast recurrence score test has surpassed 2 million patients globally. Data: the company estimates the test has helped 1.6 million women safely avoid chemotherapy, generating $1,000 in lifetime savings per US patient. Read more Sangamo Therapeutics, Fabry data. Data presented Phase 1-2 STAR study results at the World Symposium 2026, showing stabilized cardiac function and improved kidney function, eGFR, over 4.5 years. Status: a rolling BLA submission has been initiated. Read more clinical and research updates. Pfizer, obesity. The data reported Phase 2B Vesper 3 data yesterday for its once-monthly injectable GLP-1RA PF 0.86539444. The reality check: patients achieved 10.0% to 12.3% weight loss after 28 weeks. While safety was consistent, nausea, vomiting, the 4% stock dip confirms investors were looking for top-tier 15% plus efficacy to challenge Zepbound. Read more Johnson & Johnson atrial fibrillation. Data presented late-breaking OmniF pilot data yesterday at the AF Symposium, showcasing its Varipulse pulsed field ablation (PFA) platform. Read more AbbVie, vitiligo, regulatory. Submitted applications to the FDA and EMA for Rinvoq, upadacitinib, in adults and adolescents with non-segmental vitiligo. Read more corporate developments. Merck, earnings, results, reported Q4 sales of 16.4 billion yesterday. Guidance. CEO Robert Davis touted a 70 billion plus annual opportunity over the next decade as the company prepares for the 2028 Keytruda patent cliff. Read more Quanterix, Alzheimer's. Regulatory submitted a 510(k) to the FDA yesterday for its multi-analyte blood test, p-tau 217, ABE42, ABE40, GFAPI, NFL, to aid in Alzheimer's detection. Read more Francis Medical Medtech. Milestone announced the first commercial procedure using the Vanquish water vapor system for prostate tissue ablation. Read more policy and public health appropriations passed, HR 7148 legislation. The U.S. House passed the FY 2026 funding bill yesterday. Impact includes the Q1-Q2 legislation, which authorizes the FDA to disclose specific ingredient mismatches to generic manufacturers intended to bypass bureaucratic red tape and accelerate generic entry. Read more surgeon burnout, J&J report. Study. J&J released a global report yesterday showing 40% of surgeons are considering leaving the profession, citing administrative burden as the primary driver. Read more editorial note. All items are time-locked to Pacific time and reviewed for operational relevance. Biomed Nexus Pro, Institutional Intelligence. Brief in, today's Pro Brief, the Metsera. Discount. Why the 5% plus efficacy gap, Buzz Lilly, prices Pfizer's asset as maintenance only, cutting peak sales estimates by 8 billion plus. Sangamo's regulatory risk, 3 approval scenarios, 60% accelerated, 30% outcomes trial, 10% CRL, and how each plays out for the 320 stock. Diagnostic. Pivot. Why Exact Quest's shift to preventive revenue could trigger 15-20% multiple expansion and the Q1 rotation signal. Upgrade to unlock institutional analysis. Read full article.